What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Litecoin today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. 1 second. Okay, so here we are sitting at about $104 right now. Looking at this thing on a daily time frame, it does appear that we are looking to break out of this consolidation phase, right? Whether we have or haven't, I guess, is up for debate. If we take a trend line here from the high and we try to connect it down, right, it looks like you've already broken out of this and you back tested it for support, and now you might move up. That's a good look. But I suppose, you know, you could look at it almost like you're continuing to find resistance here, and then maybe on this next attempt you break out. Either way, however you want to look at it, it definitely seems as though we are coming to an end of being in this area. So if that's the case, I think projecting outwards is appropriate, right? From a high to a low here, the outward projections at a minimum would take you to at least a 63% move up at $170 to a 96, almost a 100% move up at $204. And it's completely possible you exceed that and go through it. If Litecoin were to keep on pace with the average participant, the average coin in the market, you'd expect to see it somewhere around 235 to 288 by the end of this move sometime in February. And that's kind of what I would expect, is that Litecoin does keep up the pace with the rest of the market, maybe even being a little bit on that above average side or on the upper ends of average, right? If it were to be on the lower ends of average, we'd expect 204, something around 200. If it's to be on the upper ends of average, maybe not quite 300, but something above 250, right, is what I would expect. So that is the next kind of target area zone. Personally, if we zoom out, we look at this thing on a weekly basis, I think targets like that are totally acceptable, because you've been in this consolidation phase, this accumulation zone, for a very long time, for years, quite literally years. And this moment here, when you found resistance, you just sold off immediately. This moment here, when you found resistance, you sold off immediately. This moment here, when you found resistance, you're kind of consolidating. It's a little bit different, right? You did, I suppose you did sell off rather immediately, but then you started consolidating afterwards. To be fair, that is what you did here as well. But you are getting further away from the green line, the 123 moving average, and being here now where you are consolidating above the green line and getting the green line to slope upwards, which I think is a very phenomenal thing to do, right? If we look at the relative high to low here, breaking out of this consolidation phase, generally I would expect you to go to your golden ratio when breaking out of the consolidation phase, and that's fine. That'd put you on that, again, about average, on the lower end of average kind of move. But being that you're so close to your 0.5 here and looking like you'd rip, I don't think you stop here personally. I think being under this for all this time, I think where you stop is going to be at least your 786, if not your 886. So something around 250 to 317 by this metric is what we would expect. By what we were looking at earlier, maybe not 317. I don't want to throw it off, man. I think Litecoin, even though we are binding it by this range here at about 250 to what I would say is like probably 290, 215 to 250 to 290 is what I'm expecting. It really could go higher. We could see Litecoin being worth over $400 by the end of February. It really could happen. So just because these are my calls, don't hold on to them. Don't cling on them for dear life, right? I can be wrong. I can be off to the downside. I can be off to the upside. And speaking of that downside perspective, you know, maybe Litecoin is by the end of February, maybe it's only at $200. That's not bad. It's just, that's basically average, but it's like the minimum of average of a minimum standard that we could accept as average would be about $200. You want to be at least above 250, because that means you're on par. You're pretty on par with the average market participant, but probably on that higher side, right? And then of course anything above 317, anything above 300 period is welcome here. So I think that is your next target area. I think you're on your way there now. When it is time to get excited, beyond breaking the obvious trend here, beyond breaking this obvious trend, I think if I was to give you a specific price to get excited for, if we look at the relative high to the relative low, that specific price would be $120. You break above 120, essentially if you get a daily close at 121 or higher, that's how you know that this next move is on, right? And I do suspect, again, by the end of February, that's when we would see it come into full fruition, right? So we'll see this move take place probably sometime in the middle, before the 20th, if not right around the end of February. We'll be up around 250 to 290, somewhere in this zone, and then spending the end of February going into March, finding a low, and then going into the end of March, going into April, moving up again, moving higher. So probably searching for new all-time highs sometime in April. But that's all I got for you guys. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this. How confident am I that Litecoin moves up from here? I am very confident that it moves up from here. There's always a chance that we could drop. But I would say if we don't move up from here and we do drop, it wouldn't be one of these constructive drops that takes us lower. It would be something similar to this, where it's just a quick dip and then we rip back up, right? If we were to drop from here, I would call it a slip, because that's essentially what it's going to be. It's going to be like, whoa, 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 oh, I'm fine, it's okay. You know, I didn't actually fall. I just slipped real quick and then I caught myself. That's what it would be. So if I'm wrong and we don't do this, I'm so confident that we're going to move up that even if I'm wrong, it's not going to matter. It's not going to matter at all. And the amount that we would drop is going to be insignificant to the amount we pump. So if the question is it a good time to buy here at $104? That's a personal question. You should be able to answer that for yourself, and I hope after this video you get a little bit of a better idea as to what that answer should be. None of this is financial advice. Not a financial advisor. Don't kill me. I'm just the messenger. I'll see you guys on the next one. Hit that like button, subscribe. Bye.